Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. So, you didn't manage to qual for FNCS again. Maybe you got round 2, but you didn't manage to get round 3. We'll be going over the most important things, why you didn't qual, mainly because you probably didn't know how to play the meta correctly. You died to people nitroing in your box, you didn't use the nitro correctly, and we'll talk about all this and how you can do this correctly for FNCS week 2. So make sure you stick around to the end. We'll be going over really good strategies. I'll always show you examples, and make sure to drop a like and subscribe if this helped you. Trying to get 1,000 subs so I can start hosting scrims. So let's get right into it. So the first thing that Nitro is really good for is getting refreshes in Endgame, especially in duos. So this is perfect for FNCS. You can get easy refreshes. As we'll see in this clip right here, this duo is on a rotate. They see a solo, get an easy refresher on them because they are playing together. Playing together is essential with Nitro. If you play together, you can easily run in every box, you can rotate together, people won't run into you. Even if they do, you'll maybe be able to just pump them. So playing together, really important this FNCS. That's what a lot of people lack. If you practice these next few days scrims, then you'll be really good at this. So here, they see this player, they stay together, boom, run in, quick kill, full refresh, full mats again, have some mats to tarp out here, and good side of zone. We'll go over how to counter the Nitro and how you could counter this situation in a sec, but first of all, we'll go over how to fight and how to rotate with the Nitro. So this was a really good example of how to use the Nitro when you're fighting. Now, the next thing Nitro is really good for is rotating, especially longer rotates in Endgame. So right here, they have to go a decent distance, not too far, but they have to go a bit. Especially if you pull far zone, like 50-50 zone is completely on the other side of you, you want to use Nitro. Here they pop it together, always make sure you pop Nitro together in a duo, and then stay on one side of the zone. So here they run around the right, and they go up layers a bit. This is really good rotate, they don't stay on low ground, and they're together again. Make sure if you lose your duo, get to him as quick as possible. So yeah, for longer rotates, Nitro is really good. For shorter rotates, it's something different. I would not recommend you using Nitro for shorter rotates, especially if you have enough mats. So if you have enough mats, just play it normally. Rotate to zone, run normally, because with Nitro, you'll get, first of all, you might try to jump into someone and just die that way. Second of all, you might be way too fast and you're not able to stick with your duo. So these are two things you don't want to happen. So make sure you just rotate normally if it's possible, if you have the mats for it. Only use Nitro for longer rotates or if you have to get a refresh. Of course, if you need to get a refresh, use your Nitro to kill someone. In this rotate, for example, these players got split because they did not just rotate together. They used their Nitro and just started sprinting. Not worth it here. They have good mats. They should have probably just run together and stick together. And if they do use the Nitro, try to get a refresh if they don't have the mats to rotate normally. Another thing I see a lot of people doing wrong is not using their medal when they have it. Make sure you use your medal to rotate the first zones in endgame because people can't jump in that easily. A solo can't run through the medal. In a duo you can, but in a solo you can't. So make sure you use your medal before you start using your brick. Like here, they still have 340 medal. They should be using it right now to be extra safe so they don't die in these first parts of endgame. Now this rotate before was really good. They stick together. That was perfectly played with Nitro. Make sure you decide on the roles. One player leads and one player follows. And the player that is following has to exactly follow what the other player is doing to make sure you're on them. Just like you see here. They stick together perfectly. They're in the same box. Now they can look for kills maybe. If you have mats, don't play low ground. As you can see in this video, they get fucked a bit because they're on low ground. Please don't play low ground if you have the mats to play higher layers. Especially with the Nitro, it gets really chaotic on low ground. So if it's possible, play high ground. And if you're on low ground, yeah, you have to make sure you play together so you don't get pumped like that. So you can just run in boxes together. Another thing that is better due to the Nitro meta is that you can play high ground easier. Because people are not constantly fisting up, you can play high ground. And you can use the Nitro to your advantage. So either you can use it to knock someone down, or you can just build up, use your Nitro to be super fast, to get frontside first, and just get up as fast as possible. Or you just play zone, go out of zone with your Nitro, you're still fast, you can run up the enemy's ramp behind them, and use your floppers if you have them or medkits, just play zone a bit, and then go up behind the enemies and take high ground for them. Now how do you counter Nitro? That's what we'll go over in the next part of this video. So to counter Nitro, there's some really important things you need to make sure you're doing. First of all, you want to get the advantage first in the fight. You need to be a solid fighter. You need to have awareness to start the fight off correctly. You want to be the one with the advantage at the start, because right here, you see the enemy gets the advantage. They get an 80 tag on his teammate right here, and then they box up here because they want to heal, and they just get nitroed in, and they're dead immediately. Now nitro, and they're dead in 1 second. So what they should have done better here is, first of all, you can try to prevent the fight by being very aware of your surrounding, not taking that opening tag. Of course, you can't always do that, but make sure you're very aware so people don't get the advantage on you before the fight even starts. Because once they do that, you'll have to box up, then they nitro into you. So what they could have done here, even though they got tagged, is make sure they counter the fight aggressively. They box up immediately. You can't box up with nitro. You can't box up. You need to play high ground. You need to build up so people can't nitro into your box. So here they shouldn't have boxed up. They should have instantly gone for high ground. Try to get counter damage that way. And then you can play the fight out from high ground. And it's way easier because you don't just get knocked around by the nitro the whole time. So make sure if you're fighting that you get the advantage so people can't nitro into you. And even if you get hit a bit, don't back down. Don't play your box. You have to play high ground, else people will just run into you, into your box. So yeah, that's how you can counter early game fights. Now we'll talk about endgame. So in endgame, what you want to be doing is, first of all, using your metal. As we already said, if you have metal in endgame, use your metal. People can't jump into you that easily. Then, do not make too many boxes to the side. This won't help you in this meta. People can still run into your wall and they'll be able to just keep running through. However, if you have a box up one, for example, you have more space to move around in. You can change layers and then people can't follow you that easily, as if you were just staying on the same layer. So make sure if you're boxing up, especially in solos also, go, instead of too wide, go too high. Then, next thing, sit in your cone. Please sit in your cone. Either on bottom if you just want to heal quick and then keep going, or if you want to scout and you have time longer, you're already in zone, then go in the top cone. On the top, you always have more of an overview, so try to get into the top, but the bottom one is quicker, of course, because just while you're running, you can just hop in the bottom one and keep healing. So use your cones, use hard mats, and don't play low ground too much. If you have the mats for it, stay on a higher layer, because as you can see here, it's way too chaotic because people are just running around with nitro. This won't happen too much if you're on high ground. And then make sure you're sitting in a cone so people can't box into you. Like here, he needs to be in his cone, else he's going to die immediately. He just wasted that medkit for this reason. So you sit in your cone, play high ground, and make sure you're using hard mats. And stick together. If you're together, you might be able to pump the guy and get an easy kill that way, even though he nitroed into your box and surprised you. So yeah, that's how you can counter nitro. Another thing that I noticed with the people I watched is a lot of people that are getting into FNCS, haven't played too much, have struggled with getting Storm Surge. And then once Storm Surge appears, they don't have enough, and then they start to panic. They might try to nitro into someone and then just die immediately. So to get Storm Surge, a little tip, extra tip, is, of course, you're always landing at the same spot, and then you want to scout where people are around you. You can notice patterns where people usually land, or while you're gliding, you just look around where other people are landing. Then, once you got your basic loot, once you got a DMR maybe, or some long-range weapon, you go on to high ground, so natural high ground, so a mountain, for example, and then you can get tags on these players early on. Mid-game, it's always a bit harder, so try to get the Storm Surge tags as early as possible. If you don't get them early game, get them mid-game, and that helps you not panic in endgame. So yeah, I hope you liked this video. I hope you learned a lot. Comment down below if you have any more questions. If you want any extra tips, you can always join my Discord down below and I can give you some extra tips. We can watch some of your replays. So make sure you do that, and make sure to drop a like and subscribe. And I hope you qual this week.